Some people call it a privilege. Others think of it as a nuisance. Whatever you think about it, if you are called for jury duty, there are certain things you must do in regards to that. And a woman who served on the jury at a recent murder trial claims one of those requirements has now put her in danger. News 13's Kim Holland has tonight's special assignment.
Like it or not, jury duty is your civic duty. When this woman who didn't want to be identified got picked, she was thrilled.
I'm like the only person I know that was excited to do this, you know, I really was. And then all this happens and I just feel so disillusioned and I feel, you know, wronged.
Their identities are generally protected. The court replaces their names with a number. And during a trial, the media never shows their faces. Last month, this woman, we'll call Julie, sat on a jury that convicted a man for murder. After she voted to convict him, she says she realized the court had done little to protect her.
I was stunned.
It started with this paperwork, the juror questionnaire. Every potential juror must fill it out before they even arrive at the courthouse for jury duty. It's a tool the prosecution and defense use to choose the 12 men and women who will sit on a jury. 36 questions that ask things like your name, the major intersection closest to your home, the name of your employer, your job title, and the hours you work. And by law, the defendant has a right to see these questionnaires to help pick a jury that will decide his or her fate. Now, it might not seem like a big deal, but for Julie, who helped convict a man on murder, it was a big problem. Do you think your defendant had access to your questionnaire?
Yes, I know he did. Potentially, you know, they could come find you and do the same thing that they did to the person who was murdered.
All courts in New Mexico use the same questionnaire. It was last revised in 2006 by the Jury Improvement Committee. It's made up of about a dozen or so lawyers and judges, a legislator, and staff from the administrative office of the courts. Do you have any concern about the questions that are on this?
I do not.
Arthur Pepin heads up the AOC. He says the questionnaire is necessary for both the prosecution and defense to be able to ask potential jurors appropriate questions. And the Constitution entitles defendants to see the questionnaire so they can be involved in their own defenses.
It's very, very unusual for a juror to actually be threatened in any way by the fact of juror service.
We talked to Chief District Judge Ted Baca, who used to sit on the Jury Improvement Committee. He says there have been complaints about religious or political questions, but he says this is the first time he's heard about somebody afraid that a defendant would use the questionnaire to track down a juror. Still, weeks after the trial, Julie's still afraid.
The very next day we had a security system installed in our house. I took another day off work when the trial was over.
The court says it takes juror privacy seriously, but at this point it has no plans to change anything on the questionnaire. Kim Holland, KRQE News 13.
Anyone with a complaint about jury duty can send that complaint to the state Supreme Court, and the court will have the committee look into the complaint.